What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch back here with another NFL record prediction for the 2020 regular season. In this video, I will break down the Denver Broncos schedule game by game with my game predictions for the 2020 season. Break down the games that I feel like they have a good opportunity to win those games, the games that I feel like maybe they're at the disadvantage, possibly lose those games, and give you my record prediction for the Broncos in 2020. I think the Broncos are an exciting team this year. I think they're a team that a lot of people are looking forward to watching with all the new weapons they have. The quarterback question, of course, and Drew Lock. And then defensively, they're going to be a good team under Vic Fangio. This is a team that I think a lot of people are excited for that could potentially make the playoffs. So let's find out if I think they will make the playoffs in 2020 and what their record will be this season. But before I give you my record prediction for Denver in 2020, make sure that you do spike the like button, subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL videos and record predictions just like this. And of course, comment below your opinion on the Broncos. Do you think they're going to get to the playoffs this year, or do you think they're just one season away? All right, let's take a look at their schedule for 2020. Kicking it off on Monday Night Football. There's nothing better than that. The two games on Monday night in week one, it's just super exciting. And a team like the Broncos with so much hype, I feel like that's just going to be so much fun playing a team like the Titans that went to the AFC Championship last year. And I have respect for, and I think the entire AFC is looking at now with a target on their back somewhat is like a team that you need to look out for. I think the Broncos are going to come out and win this game, and there is a couple reasons why. I think the Broncos, they are one of the teams that are capable of going toe-to-toe with the rushing attack of the Titans. The way the Titans beat you is by overpowering you and being more physical than you. And that's just not going to happen when you play the Broncos at Mile High in week one. Not to mention, with this shortened, weird offseason we're about to have, it's not going to be easy to go to Mile High for opposing teams and win early in the season. Week two, Drew Lock gets his first taste of an upper echelon defense early in this schedule, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for that reason, I am going to pick the Steelers. I've been to Pittsburgh. I've been to Heinz Field. That is not a nice place to play, and I would not want to be a young quarterback playing versus this defense, TJ Watt and all those boys out there. I just think the Steelers are one of the better teams in the AFC this year. They have been back. I think they're a much more capable team offensively because of that, and defensively, they have a top 5 unit with a really good pass rush, a solid secondary, and I just think, early in the season, Locke is going to get better as the season progresses. But in week 2, to play this defense on the road, that's the type of game I am giving to the Steelers. Week 3, now this is one to circle. Broncos, you get to face Tom Brady once again. This time, though, he's not in a Patriot uniform. He is in a Bucs uniform. Tampa Bay will travel to Denver. Now, I am giving this game to the Broncos. And why? Well, you guys know I'm a Patriots fan. I'm wearing the sweater. Well, Tom Brady is not good versus the Broncos. And specifically in Denver. Whatever it is, Mile High, I don't know what it is, okay? But for some reason, I think this is the only team he has a losing record versus in the entire NFL. I might be wrong, but I got to fact check that, double check that. I know that he's been good in New England versus the Broncos. But whenever it's in Denver, there's something weird going on there. I just think it might be his kryptonite. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. I don't remember even when they won, when he actually played well. I'm trying to think back. I don't remember it. So I'm going with the Broncos in week 3. Week 4, the Jets, Thursday night football game. That's kind of an awkward situation because you just played a really good, talented Bucs team that I have you beating. So are you riding too high going into this Thursday night game versus the Jets? I'm going to stick with the Broncos just because I feel like they're the overall better team, and I don't really see where the Jets are better in any facet, really. But a Thursday night is always wacky, and it's always good to go with the home team, but I just don't think the Jets are, like, I don't think they have enough at the skill positions. I don't think they have enough as a receiver. I don't think Darnold is enough to carry this team over a victory. The Broncos are just way more talented than the Jets. So I'm going to go with the Broncos. Week 5, I'm going to go with the Patriots. And this is for similar reasons as why I went with the Steelers in week 2. The Patriots, just like the Steelers, have an upper echelon defense. This is in the first 5 weeks of the season. The Patriots are at home, Broncos on the road, and the Patriots here have an even better secondary than the Steelers, maybe not the pass rush that they have, but when you're talking about a young quarterback facing Bill Belichick, it's just not a good matchup. And the receivers for the Broncos, while they maybe like take advantage of a team like the Jets or possibly even some of the teams down the line on this schedule, like New England is the team that can match up with anybody's receivers due to their corner depth. So I'm going to go with the Patriots in week 5. Week 6, they play the Dolphins at home. I think they beat the Dolphins at home. I think, again, just like it's difficult for Denver to go to Pittsburgh or New England with their rookie quarterback, if Miami has a rookie quarterback and goes to Denver in week 6 and plays that defense, that's another difficult thing to do. Now, if it's Fitzpatrick, might be a little bit different, maybe a closer game, but I think at the end of the day, Broncos are just better, and that's why I'm taking them. Week 7, Kansas City at Denver. Now, when we're talking about the Kansas City conversation, Kansas City swept them last year. Kansas City, I believe Denver will beat them once this year. And let's say it's week 7. Now, you're already 4-2. Now you're 5-2 going the bye, and people are starting to buy the hype. I'm going to give them the loss when they go to Arrowhead and give them the win at home. I think the Broncos finally have enough weapons in a matchup versus Mahomes. You always need to have enough firepower to be able to win a shootout type of game. And if the Broncos defense, for whatever reason, isn't capable of slowing down Mahomes, at least Drew Lock, if he is hot that day, can make plays with the weapons he has around him. And I think that was the smartest move the Broncos made this offseason, surrounding Lock with weapons. Now you go in the bye week, then you play Atlanta. I think the Broncos will win. I think the reason here is because I don't truly trust Atlanta's offensive line, and I think Denver could possibly get a lot of pressure on Matt Ryan, which will make him uncomfortable. But I don't really expect that to be a gimme. I think that's going to be a difficult game regardless, because I think Atlanta, on the road in a dome, you facing Julio and Matt Ryan and a underrated D-line. I don't think that's going to be easy, but I think the Broncos will find a way to win that game with Vic Fangio. Week 10, they play the Raiders in Vegas. I think the Vegas Raiders win that game, and I think they beat the Raiders in Week 17. I think they split with the Raiders. Not really a lot of reasoning here. I just think the teams are very close. They're rivals, and that's just what happens when two teams are very close in talent and very close in terms of they play each other a lot. Week 11, they play the Chargers at home. I'm going to say that they beat the Chargers at least once. I think they could beat the Chargers twice, honestly, but I'm going to say that they split with the Chargers just like they split with the rest of their division. I think this division in the AFC West is just so good that it's going to be difficult for them to really sweep any of the teams in their division. I think the Raiders, the Chargers, the Chiefs, they're all teams that I think could be in the playoff conversation when it's all said and done, and we're getting close to January. Week 12, they play the Saints at home. Now, just like they play the Bucs, I actually think they're going to upset the Saints. And these are two of the top teams in the NFC, okay? But hear me out, right? The Saints, week 12. Week 12 is what time of the schedule? It's like November-ish. I think it could be raining. I think it could be really cold. I think it could, maybe we're even getting flurries in the air. Drew Brees is not good in that type of weather. He never has been, and especially now when his arm strength has not been at the same levels it used to be in his prime. I think the Broncos, this is another, if they played the Bucs and the Saints on the road, I probably wouldn't believe that they could beat them. But I think they'll at least beat one of them. And I'm going to be bold enough to say that they might beat both of them here. And that includes also beating Kansas City at least once this year. So that's how high I am on the Broncos right now and their talent and their defense to be able to knock off Breeze and Brady and Mahomes in this schedule. Week 14, they play Carolina. I think the Broncos can beat Carolina. And week 15, I have them playing the Bills. This is kind of a weird game. I don't know if they're going to beat the Bills, lose to the Bills. I'm going to say they lose to the Bills. I think the Bills are a good team. I think they're like the second tier in the AFC. I think at this point, this is the Bills are a team unlike the Saints, where if they go to Denver, they won't necessarily be afraid to play in the snow because they're used to it, or the cold because they're used to it. They're actually probably better in it. And the Bills have a really solid defense, and just like the Steelers and the Patriots, they have a really smart defensive coach and system that I think Drew Lock might struggle in that game. So I'm going to give it to Buffalo. That's another close one. If maybe they beat Buffalo, but they lose to a team like New Orleans or Tampa Bay. Either way, I think they find a way to finish somewhere between 9-7 and 10-6 in their schedule, ultimately leading to a playoff berth. I don't think they're going to win their division, but I do think they'll finish second, and I think that will be enough to get a wild card spot. I think in the AFC this year, if you get to 9-7, you'll be in the top 7 seeds. So there you go, 10-6 for the Broncos. I actually do believe the hype right now. Hopefully I'm right. Let me know if I'm right in the comments. It's Mitch with The Bottom Line View. Peace.